Woo!
That is by far the best intro I've ever had. Ever. Anyway.
Take that, Salinger!
Oh,
well, like you said, I do poetry and playwriting, so what I have tonight for you hopefully is a combination, and you may call it dramatic poetry or poetic drama, but whatever it is, I hope you enjoy it. A few new poems, so new they don't even have titles. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about some of my playwriting. This is a new poem. She has a new boyfriend. He's 6'2" and only 24. He's broad, he's lean, and he discusses things like photography, indie films, and experimental theater. She has a new boyfriend, and she's a bit overweight because she's 42. She's broad and buxom, and she's learning about things like public policy, high fashion handbags, and driving the right car. Alone at night, she cries just a little when she remembers Brazil and the humidity, the leaves, the eyes of some great beast. Alone at night, she dances to secret rhythms, sings in words we don't know, speaks to horses and running birds who speak back. The ice on the water bucket is melting in the sun, and they further tangle themselves in darkness, the sheets, each other, and together they dream fine dreams of monkeys in indie films, and photography of running birds, and dark beastly dances on a bright painted stage. This is another newer poem. She wrote today. She wrote about how losing herself, falling deep into the caves of some mountain town, she wrote about how the caves and tunnels glowed and flowed and looked like the diner where she works, the bank that wouldn't cash her checks, the boyfriend who hit her and ran away. These places were dark and wet and sweet because the busboy left candy in the pocket of her apron. Diners lent her money for rent and cigarettes. His kisses were silent and humid and full of flowers. She wrote today, sat down and picked up a stubby broken pencil, and on the napkin wrote of caves and dark tunnels, wet kisses and candy, and how her life unfolds like the spindly legs of some quiet fawn. I do playwriting, and I've been actually working on something new that kind of came to me. I write more through images, so I kind of wait until I can almost see what's going on the stage, and then I try to find the story within there. So I'm working on something that's a parallel play where there's a woman who is meeting a man in the first act and meeting a woman in the second act, and all I've come up with so far are images of scenes, and this was the first bit of wordage that came, and this is from Act 2 when she meets this mystery woman. I need to ask you this. Do you love him? Oh my God, this sounds like some bad TV drama. Do you love him? Because he deserves to be loved, and if you do love him, set him free. Oh my God. But I'm serious here. Here now. If you don't love him and want him much beyond the new year, then maybe you need to let him be. Listen. Listen. Sit down. Yeah, smoke if you want to. Now here's the story. Yeah, sit. When I was a kid, we used to roam the woods, just beyond the ridges. Yeah, down by the mall, where the mall is now. And if you crossed the creek and climbed up just that side of the ridge, there was a clearing where a dogwood tree grew. It grew bent over like an arch, like a rainbow of white flowers. And we named that tree. We named that tree and we called it Babe, and we wrote notes. We wrote down our teenage broken hearts and turned all the words and buried them at the roots of that tree, and it grew and grew and grew. And somehow we thought it was our broken hearts, our pain, that fed that tree. But when we grew up, we knew, we'd learned that pain doesn't feed anything. Nothing grows up from pain. Nothing reaches up to the sun from the shreds of broken hearts down at its roots. Do you love him? I'm not used to all the applause after everything.
We'll stop.
No, there's... so that's something very rough that's in progress and working. And playwriting is nice because you can always give feedback on it, because it's always changing. When you hand over a play to a theater, to a director, to a bunch of actors, they're going to mess with it anyways. So it's always messable. It's always changeable. So if you hear something you're like, oh man, that was awful, it was totally awful, that didn't strike me right, let me know, because I need to do something about it. This is a very short monologue from a more developed play. This was my first full-length play called The Doe. It was workshopped here in Cleveland, and then it ended up at other places, and then this monologue ended up in more scenes and monologues from the best new plays.
Do you have any copies of that book to sell?
No, I don't.
Well, you should.
Merriweather Publishing. So the Doe is a very strange play about two women. One's named Tomlin, and she is looking for her best friend. At the beginning of the play, her best friend disappears, and she kind of goes through the play trying to figure out where she went. And here she's talking to a woman, trying to figure out where her friend has gone. And the scene is kind of interesting because Tomlin starts giving this monologue, and you're not sure who she's talking to, and at some point a curtain or something rises or something moves, and you see she's talking to a psychic. It's happened twice. People don't just leave. Two people don't just leave. That night, I dreamt about her again. I think I'm awake, and I'm walking down the hall to the bathroom, and the lights go on everywhere in the house. I'm frozen for a second, then I sneak to the doorway, and my hair's hanging behind me like a sheet, like a waterfall, and I see her. She's moving, slow motion, like through water, down the hall. She's ghostly, and I feel my skin prickle all over. She's moving down the hall and lightly touching each door, and they spring open at her touch. She looks into each room, and she's confused. She's looking for something, or she's looking for someone, and I'm still frozen, but I know I have to talk to her. But what else can I say? I have daydreamed this 100 times, seeing her again, talking, telling her all my secrets, everything I should have told her over those years. Or just touching her and making sure she's real. I noticed something moving at her feet then, a dark wave. I look closer and I see it's my hair. My waterfall of hair has hit the floor and it's flowing to her like dark cream. She looks down, but It's too late. My hair has touched her tentatively at first, like a cat. Then recognizing her, it coils once, twice, again and again around her legs. She gives a slight smile, but the hair must have tightened because the smile fails and she looks panicked. And the hair keeps flowing, and it's all around her, like a cocoon. I'll give you another short poem, and then I want to read to you, and maybe later, if I'm still around, you're still around. I have 3 kids I have to get to school tomorrow. So,
That's over.
We can drive to sleep, right? Yeah, jump out!
That's it. Slow down a little, that's all.
So I give
Tuck
you,
and roll, tuck and roll.
I'll give you this short poem, and then I want to read you a little bit from this new play, and maybe get some feedback from you later if you have time. But first, this poem, and this is a new poem that I read at that Lost Boys event a couple weeks ago, and I wrote it specifically for that event, trying to keep in mind what the event was for. It was to support the Sudanese boys that are in Cleveland, but also I was just getting images from what I was looking at. The dark branches flow sweetly high, dream of green as they go. The sky is white, one solid page, waiting for the scratch of love. This tree too goes on each day, each year. The branches flow high, it scratches names in the clouds. This tree reaches in winter, now summer, now it's spring, and the nests are full. The dark branches flow sweetly high, and on we go. You, the oak, you, maple, you, birch, together today. The forest reaches sweetly high, and you watch them write your name in the sky. This is the latest play I have. Actually, I like the name Porn for Angel at the Blue Theater much better.
Say it again?
It's called Prom for Angel, but Nick called it Porn for Angel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I don't know.
Porn for Angel would be good.
Both ways. So it's a very short play. It was produced at the Blue Theater in California. To rave reviews, of course. But
Of course.
and
Needless.
there's only 2 characters, and they're talking separately. So you could split it down the middle, and it could become 2 monologues, really. Or you could do all sorts of great things. It depends on the actors, the director. Originally, the play was written for the 2 characters, the brother and the teacher, in the middle of the play, to start removing their gender-assigned clothes and start putting on clothes from the other gender. So the brother would start taking off his boy clothes and put on women's clothes, and the teacher would take off her women's clothes and take on men's clothes. So
A little warning, we could have actually done that.
we could have.
Nick and I.
So
Something I would not like to see twice in one lifetime.
I'm with Ray on that. Once
we'll plan that for another day. After 1 a.m. I'll read you just a little part from the teacher and from the very end, and if you're sticking around you can let me know what you think of this. The teacher and the brother are talking about a person named Angel, a young person called Angel. And this is the teacher. Angel started moving like a boy. It was really awkward and painful. No, it was hurtful. It was hurtful to watch this thin little body stomping in engineer boots and hunching down in the seat with that stupid baseball cap on her head, with her hair tucked up and up away. And I even said, very surprised, Angel, Angel, what happened? And she just barely shook her head. No, don't ask. Don't do it. Don't make me look at what I've become. Some monster. To her it was a monster with a heart of gold. How could they? How could they do that? And so the days went on and we all watched Angel sink like what sinks? What sinks? A sinkhole in some LA highway sucking in on itself. Until prom. The flyers started going up. They announced it on the PA, the prom. In May. The May prom. Maybe. Maybe you'd go, maybe not. Maybe with a boyfriend, maybe alone. There were a lot of maybes. Maybe, just maybe, Angel could fight this. And it started quietly, just like her journal, just as quiet. First, the hat disappeared. Her hair was tied back, but not hidden, never hidden again. And then, I don't know if others were helping or what, but soon another quiet breeze would go through the room and this boy, Angel, had on lip gloss. Or took off his jacket and had on a blouse or a Hello Kitty t-shirt. And then it grew, and all the girls, and all the boys, and all the girls who were boys, and all the boys who were girls were wearing engineer boots and skirts with leather, black leather jackets, cowboy suede fringe coats, ripped hose, and Hello Kitty, all with lip gloss and sparkly eyeshadow and glitter across their cheeks like electric blue freckles. And by the end of April, you couldn't tell who was who in the halls. It was just a mass of bodies. And for once, when they walked into the class, you knew them by, well, by some characteristic, some little dash that made them specifically them. There's the one who loves to read when we do Shakespeare out loud, I tell myself. Or there's the one who organizes the essays so well. And another there who likes to sit with her knees up in class because it helps her concentrate. And I started to wonder if people outside of this, outside of our new wonder bubble, saw me by some characteristic, who I really am. Or if they just saw old lady teacher dressed in conservative skirts with breasts that are too small and a butt that needs slimming. Or did they say, there she is, the one who teaches the modern novel and Irish poets so well. She loves lovely words and sticks her tongue out when she's doing that. I could be just me. But that's not the worst of it. It was just before prom, and Angel's friends told us all about it. The glittery tutu cut into 1-inch squares all over the living room. The makeup ground into that green carpet, stains that will never come out. Stains on a carpet, stains on Angel's life. So when Angel came home, and came home into this mess, there was all that stuff in that prom dress. Like, what happened? Sometimes things happen, and you feel, I don't know, it's odd, but I feel like if I had done something and put my hand out to help Angel, or if I didn't do something, like had that one moment of doubt, let the world's hate and intolerance brush across my mind for that one moment, if I had been more sure, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe. But it wasn't me. But at the same time, it was me all along. It was me, and it was you too. We all came home that day. We all saw it there, the prom dress shredded to pieces, something we loved, and our hearts just as torn. It was you, and it was you, and it was you. It was me lying there like so much dust, and it was you crawling across that carpet. It was me like the Santa Ana's ready to burn, and it was you humming like a live wire. And it was me, a boy, a boy, girl, and we go on from here. When the lights come up now, and we all go on and go home and become something new every minute, every day, we become angels. Thank you very much.